Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. This is the start of my first weekly vlog of 2024 and this is going to be a interesting week. So like I said, today is New Year's. It is Monday and I am off of work. Tomorrow I start work again after 2 weeks of being on vacation, which I'm not excited about. Plus, my girls don't go back to school until Wednesday, which means that they will both be home tomorrow, and that's gonna be interesting. But first thing we need to talk about are the books that I'm gonna be reading in January. So I have actually already started last night on New Year's Eve. I started the Barbarian Alien book, which is book 2 in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. I started it, like I said, yesterday. I ran out, I finished my book and I needed to have something else to read last night, so I decided to pick up this, and I don't know where I am. I am 80% through with that book already. I did read some more this morning already. So last night I read up until about the 60% mark, and then I read some more of the book today. I have about an hour left of this book, so I'll be able to knock that out very quickly, and then I'll be picking up probably my most anticipated read of 2024, which is going to be the ACOTAR series. So I will be reading book 1, A Court of Thorns and Roses. This will be my next book in January, since Barbarian Aliens is book number 1. But we will be finally diving into the world of Feyre and Rhysand and Cassius and a bunch of other people that I have heard about, but I have no idea what the book's about. So we'll be driving into this, and that's where we're at. So far today, we took down all of our Christmas decorations, did a little bit of shopping. I did not buy anything, which is great. I will do another check-in maybe later on tonight after I have finally started ACOTAR, and if not, I will check in with you tomorrow so we can see what the rest of the week holds. All right, so today is Tuesday. It is my first day back at work after 2 weeks, and I'm not happy about it. I love being home, but I felt like I really didn't get a vacation because my kids were both home. While I love being home with them, I don't end up relaxing because I have Zoe who always wants to be with me, or there's always something going on and I just can't sit and read a book for 12 hours that day. Like, there's always something happening. So I wasn't able to do a lot of relaxing, but it was a wonderful vacation. I am very upset that now I have to wait another 3 months before spring break, but it's okay. We'll make through. We'll get through it. But it was a nice vacation and I don't want to come back. But we are here. I had to log in this morning at 6 a.m. I'm working from home again. I should be working from home pretty much all week this week. We are at a break point in my work. So I wanted to give you kind of catch you up on where I'm at reading wise. So on my Kindle, I did finish last night Barbarian Alien. I gave it a 3.5. I think all of the Ice Planet Barbarian books they're pretty much going to be 3.5 books. From what I'm gathering of the story and how it's written, it's going to be a 3.5 series, a 3.5 star series for me. But Barbarian Alien didn't follow Georgie and Vetkul. I don't know how to say his name, whatever. It did not follow them. It kind of picked up the original storyline after the girls were rescued from the spaceship. It was a different girl. This was Liz, who I actually really enjoyed in the first book because she was very outspoken. She was a country girl and knew about farming and hunting and all that kind of stuff, but she was very outspoken, and it was her story. So it was her matching up with the Excuse you. I have cars going by loudly and fans turning on in inopportune times. Gracious. But it was Liz who was matching up with her mate, Roche. Raaush. I don't know how to say it. It was her matching up with him and their storyline, because he essentially kidnaps her and takes her to a cave for, I don't know, several weeks, because he, he did something that he shouldn't have done, and he wanted to take her so that by the time he met back up with the rest of the aliens, it was kind of, it had already been done. They had already moved past it, and hopefully what he had done wasn't as big of an issue as originally thought. So that's their story. So it was really good. I mean, I won't say it was good. It wasn't really good. It was 3.5. I'm definitely going to be picking up with the rest of the books, because from what I'm seeing, every book is another story with a different couple. So it's not expanding upon, it's not like a series. It's kind of like they're interconnected standalone type books and not a sequential series. So I read that. Like I said, 3.5 stars. I'll end up picking up the rest of the books periodically for like filler books. But after I finished that, I finally got to start A Court of Thorns and Roses. And I am about 18 or so percent. I'm at chapter 8, which is page 74. And so far I'm liking it. So I like reading books that I don't have to wait on the next book in the series. Like I like Powerless. I read Powerless, and now I have to wait months and months and months for the next book to come out. And I don't really enjoy that, because I want to read books back to back to back. I want to binge them, which this series is not done, but there's still a lot of books that I can read through this whole series. So there's like 5 books right now. But the downside of that is this book, when you read the back of it, it's about Feyre and Tamlin. Now I know from reading or watching reels, people are like, oh, you love Tamlin, and they're just like, because they've already read the story. So that I'm anticipating something's gonna happen with Tamlin, and he's not gonna be a good guy. Whereas if I would have read this right when it came out, before any of the other books come out in the series, then maybe I'd be loving Tamlin, because I don't know what's to come. So, but with all that being said, I am enjoying it. So Feyre just got to Tamlin's house. She's just kind of been introduced to Tamlin and Lucien and the maid. That's basically the only 3 people that she has been introduced to so far in the Fae lands. So that's where we're at. I'm hoping I'll be able to get I would love to be able to get finished with this book today. But if I don't get it done today, I will definitely get it done tomorrow. So like I said, I'm on page 74, and there's like 419 pages total. Yeah, 419. So I know I can read this in a day, but being that I'm working and I have other stuff that I need to do, I might not be able to get this done today, but we're going to shoot for it. So that is where we're at in this book. And I think that's pretty much the wrap up today. So I don't really have, other than finish my work day. I do have a workout that I have to do today, and then that's pretty much it. So hopefully after I get all of that stuff done, I can really dive into my book and hopefully get this book finished so I can move on to the rest of my books for this month. So I'm going to call it here, because I need to log back in, and we're gonna see where the rest of the day goes. Yay for work. It's definitely one of those days. So today is Thursday. It's the new year, coming back from 2 weeks of vacation, and I can't remember what day it is to save my life, but today's Thursday. It is 1 o'clock. I just got done with a 2-hour training that I wanted to pull my hair out with. Wasn't bad. It was just on a topic I don't really care about, but I had to sit through it anyways. And now that it's done, I am taking a break. And on my break, I'm going to be doing a little vlog update. So I did not vlog yesterday just because I was in meetings back to back, had appointments after work, was tired and sore from working out. So it just wasn't a day for updates. So we're going to update today. I am still reading ACOTAR, and I am at the 75% mark or so. I am on page 316. This book is 419 pages long, so I will be finishing this today, and I'm very excited about it. I don't know how I feel. I'm enjoying the Beauty and the Beast style retelling, but I know the romance is not going to last, and that makes me sad, but it also makes me a little excited because another character in this book I have heard quite a bit about when you talk about the ACOTAR series, and I'm excited to see where his storyline goes in later books. So this is definitely a series I'm going to be very much enjoying reading, and so I'll be finishing this book in January. In February, I'm going to be reading the next book in the series, so that way basically I'll do like I did with Throne of Glass. I was going to read one book a month in the series. There is a total of 5 books, so I should have the series done by the end of May. That's where we are book-wise, and I don't know what book I want to read next. So after this book, I have quite a few books to choose from because I did put 10 books to read on my January TBR. I have already read one of them. ACOTAR is number 2. But I think I'm going to have another romance next, and I think I'm gonna read Kiss Quotient. I was going between Kiss Quotient or reading the book that my husband chose, which was a Steve Ranella like Hunters book, and that's on Kindle. So I'm not sure. I was going in between one of those two, so I'm not sure. We'll see after I'm done with this book if I feel like jumping into a romance or if I want to jump into something different. So that's where we are reading wise. I am really quickly, probably for the next 10 minutes or so that I'm on my break, I'm going to update my reading journal because I need to update my journal for the first book, the Barbarian Alien book that I finished before ACOTAR. So we have my little bookshelf that I need to write and fill in. And then I also need to fill in my January spread. And so I need to print out a picture of that book. And I'm probably going to go ahead and print out ACOTAR because I'm going to be done with that very soon. And then I need to go and write my rating, kind of the characters that are in the book, the plot, the tropes, my thoughts, all that kind of stuff. I need to update my journal because I don't want to get too far into the month and then forget what I read and what I thought of my books. So we're going to do that really quickly for the next, like I said, 10 minutes. And then for the rest of the day, I have the rest of my work day to do. And then my oldest has gymnastics this afternoon, and so at that hour-long gymnastics, I'll be able to read probably going to be read about 30 or 40 pages of this. I could read more, but it's kind of distracting reading at the gymnastics because it's a lot of noise and there's a lot of stuff happening and it distracts me. So I'm hoping I'll be able to knock out about 40 pages of ACOTAR, and then the rest of it will be read this afternoon. And so that will take me through today. And hopefully tomorrow when I do my check-in, I will have either started a new book already, or we will make the final decision of what book I want to read at tomorrow's check-in. So we're going to start on my reading journal as I have another energy sip because I need it. And then we're going to finish out today. And we're almost done with the work week. Thank goodness. Let's get the rest of the day done.
How come the stars come to shine when it's dark from so far away? Show us where we are. What makes the sun go to sleep every night, and what's it dreaming of? I wonder.
All right, we're back. It is Friday morning. I am done with work for the week. Thank goodness. It is almost 9 o'clock, and I wanted to talk about where I'm at with my books this week. So So far, since the beginning of the week, since the beginning of this vlog, I have read Barbarian Alien, which is book 2 of the Ice Planet Barbarians series. I did finish A Court of Thorns and Roses last night, which was on Thursday. And let's chat. So I gave this 4.5 stars. I have a feeling that I'm going to rate this series higher as I get further along in the series. But the reason why I gave this 4.5 is Feyre, I don't know what it is with female main characters, the FMC. I don't know what it is with the FMC of doing stupid stuff. So Feyre is a human, never lived in the Fey world. The only thing she knows about Fae is what like the humans have passed down from generation to generation, or from like hearsay, what other people have said that they know about Fae. And so she knows very limited actual fact about Fae. So she gets into the Fae world, living in Tamlin's house for a very short amount of time. And there were several instances where Tamlin or Lucian or even the maid would say, don't do that. Don't go outside. Lock your doors. Don't do whatever, is happening. Don't do it. And what does she do? She does it. I hate when, and I know they do that because you have to have tension and you have to have conflict and you have to have things, but I find it infuriating. And so I liked Feyre. She was very strong. She knew what she wanted and she went for it, but it got her in trouble a couple times. And yeah, I did, like I said earlier, a couple of days ago or yesterday or whenever, I like Tamlin. I know my feelings are going to change in the future because of Rhysand, or Rhys. I think that's how you say his name. I'm gonna say Rhys because that's what I think in my brain. So Rhys from the Night Court, I'm very excited to see what happens in the next book because I really did enjoy him in this book. I did like Lucian. I did like Tamlin. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. I cannot wait until next month where I will pick up, was it Akamath? Yes, no, whatever. A Court of Mist and Fury. I think it's called Akamath. Is that what people, I don't know all the acronyms for this series, but A Court of Mist and Furies I'm going to be reading next month, which I'm super excited about. So book 2 of January is done. It is January the 5th, so I'm pretty on par with the 10 books that I want to read during the month of January, so that's great. And then I figured out what books I want to read next. So I know I was talking about going either to the book that my husband picked out, which is a Meat Eater Steve Rinella book that's on Kindle, or that was bought on Kindle. I don't know if it's on Kindle Unlimited, but we have it on Kindle, or if I wanted to pick up a romance. And I have decided I'm going to do both. So I am going to pick up and start reading Meat Eater on my Kindle, and at the same time I'm also going to be reading Kiss Quotient, which is a book by Helen Huang. I've never read anything by her, and I wanted to kind of read both. So this is going to be, I'm going to be able to keep this in my purse very easily because today I have my daughter's doctor's appointment and it's like an hour and a half long. So this is much easier for me to read in the waiting room than a physical book, but that's the reason why I'm going to be doing both. I'm going to be doing, I think this weekly vlog is going to go to Sunday, so that way you'll get to see all of the reading that I do on the weekends, which honestly isn't a whole lot because usually the weekends are errand and cleaning days, but that is where we're at for the weekly vlog. And now I'm going to go downstairs because I have a couple of hours before our lunch date and I'm going to do some reading. So we're going to see how these books go. Books 3 and books 4 for January. All right, we are back. Today is Saturday afternoon. It's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and like I said in an earlier clip, weekends are my like errand day, cleaning days, all that kind of stuff. And so today I went shopping with my kids, did some Amazon returns, came home, did stuff around the house and all that kind of stuff. But I want to do a check-in because I just finished the Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang, and I wanted to talk about my feelings and thoughts of this book. So I had never read a Helen Hoang book, and I originally thought this was going to be a super spicy book because this is about Michael, who is an escort, and he gets hired by Stella, who is basically trying to become more experienced in her life. And so I thought it was going to be very spicy. And while it was spicy, it did have spicy scenes, it wasn't what I anticipated. So I ended up giving this 4 stars. And I have several things. So the first thing, the book's in third person, which I don't like third person books because I feel like you don't really get into the characters, like you don't get into the story as much, just because like you're not putting yourself in the story, because you don't have the I felt this or I did this. You have Stella said this or Stella did that. And so it kind of takes you out, like you're the outside looking in on the story instead of being in the story. So I feel like you don't get as connected to the storyline and the characters when you're in third person versus first person, which that led to a 4-star, or 4.25 is actually what I ended up giving it, 4.25. And the other thing that one of the things I did like about the book is Stella has a silent disability. And so she has, and I want to say, hold on, let me see if yes. So she has Asperger's syndrome, which is part of the autism spectrum, and it's basically a high functioning autistic person. And so she doesn't like touch. She's super sensitive to sound. She's super sensitive to like loud or like bright lights. And she has very specific things that people from the outside looking in might not realize. Like they might not see what she's struggling with. It's one of those silent, invisible type disorders. And that resonated with me because I have people within my family that have silent disabilities or disorders or things going on that people from the outside looking in might not immediately recognize. And so reading specifically some of the things with Stella, it actually I was tearing up several times when she was talking about her feelings and, being overstimulated and things like that. And it hit me. So unless like you're, in my mind, if you are unfamiliar with Asperger's or autism and some of those issues, you might not really feel what Stella felt in this book. But for me, I've been around that kind of situation before and I understand it. And so I kind of had that feeling of like I understood what she was going through. So I did enjoy it. I think if it would have been in first person, I might have been more connected to the characters in the story. But, being third person, you kind of knocked it down in score. But overall, the book was really good. It was not what I anticipated, like I said, but it was a good read. And then I wanted to give another little check-in on the other book that I'm reading, which is Meat Eater. This is the Steve Rinella book that my husband had picked out. I was reading it on Kindle, and I had to kind of change the way I was reading that book because it was a lot more information than what I'm familiar with. He was talking a lot about Daniel Boone and a lot about these very specific hunting situations. And while it was entertaining, when I was reading it myself, my mind started to drift. So instead, I did go on to Spotify, and I found the book on Spotify as an audiobook, and it's actually narrated by Steve Rinella. So I've been listening to that to get through the book. It is actually much better when I'm hearing it through audio. And so I'm at 44% of that book. I'm interested to see all the different stories and things kind of that have evolved, because it's essentially his like memoir and like stories of him growing up as a kid and like his hunting experience and why he hunts and like all of that kind of stuff. So you have a lot of stories on the first time he ran into a otter, or the first time he had his rifle and when he was hunting squirrel. And so you have those type of things, and you get an idea of where he came from and why he does what he does and all of that. So it was very interesting, and I am enjoying that book, but I'm definitely going to be something I'm going to be continuing on through the audiobook instead of reading it on Kindle. The other check-in that I wanted to talk about was I had one of my cards that I picked from my card deck chooses my TBR was a 2-book series, and I originally was going to read Ruthless Vows, which is book 2 of the Divine Rivals duology. I have a Owl Crate special edition book that I have ordered back in like November that I thought was going to be delivered in January because it was released the end of December. I just found out today that it's actually not going to be delivered until, it's not going to be shipped until February, so I probably am not going to get it until March. I did some hunting for duologies, and I had found a duology that I was actually really interested in, and it is The Serpent and Wings of Night. This is by Carissa Broadbent. I have never read a book by her before. This is part of the Nightborn duet. This is book 1. And this, from what I'm understanding, it's like Hunger Games, but with vampires and a human. So I like vampires. I like Hunger Games. And I like duologies. So we're going to try this out. I have heard this book is pretty good. I don't know about the second book, but I think the first book actually it had some good reviews to it. So this is going to be the book that I'm going to be substituting instead of Ruthless Vows. So that is what I'm going to be starting on today while also listening to my Meat Eater audiobook. So hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, I'll be doing my last check-in tomorrow. It's probably going to take me today and tomorrow, so hopefully by tomorrow's check-in, or I might do a Monday morning check-in, I'm not sure, but hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, I'll have a good chunk of this done. That is the check-in for Saturday. We're going to start reading The Serpents and the Wings of Night. I hate long. Why are books so long? You have A Court of Thorns and Roses, Serpents and Wings of Night. Why they gotta be so long? Why can't you just have a short word? Why can't you just have a short title? Why? Beside the point. We're gonna go ahead and cut this here, start to read, and see how far we get into Serpents and the Wings of Night tonight. All right, we are back. This is the final check-in for this weekly vlog. It's actually Monday, right after lunch, and I was trying to put off this check-in because I wanted to show you what I got from House of Jupiter. I got 2 sweatshirts back in December that were supposed to be delivered today, but wonderful shipping got delayed a day, so now it's not going to be here until tomorrow. So I'll try to put something on my Instagram if you would like to see the sweatshirts that I ended up buying. This will be my first time buying from them, so definitely check me out on Instagram if you'd be interested to see what exactly sweatshirts I got and my thoughts on them. But with that, we're going to really quickly talk about my reading. So yesterday, I didn't have any video of me doing anything on Sunday because it was basically just cleaning. I went and ran a couple of errands, but it really was just sitting at home and doing laundry and washing sheets and all of that kind of normal life requirements that you have to do. And so I didn't have anything really to record that was worth showing, but I did last night read some more of my book, and that is what I wanted to talk about. So I am still reading Serpents and the Wings of Night, which is book 1 of the Carissa Broadbent, I don't even remember what it's called, The Crowns of Nyxia, book 1. This is the book that satisfies the start a 2-book series or a 2-book series prompt. So I read it some more last night. I am up to chapter 15 on my Kindle. This is on Kindle Unlimited if you would be interested to read it. This is a book so far that's about a human girl who gets rescued essentially by the vampires that killed, I guess, the people that she lived with, her house, when she was really young, like 4 or so. She was saved by the king of the court of vampires that was in that area, and they keep calling her the king's pet because she is a human in a world of vampires, but he treats her kind of like his own daughter. So she wants to go and, I guess, find the people that she lived with, but she's not able to go to that part of the world because if she did, it would be like an act of war because it was in a different realm, I guess. And so the way that she's able to do that is she is going to try to compete basically in the Hunger Games, and the winner of the Hunger Games or the trials, they can basically get granted a wish or whatever from like the queen of vampires. And so she wants to win so that way she can be granted permission and some other stuff that I'm not 100% certain on because I just got introduced to it. But essentially she's wanting to win so that way she can get permission to go into this realm to look for the people that she lived with. So I am on chapter 15 now, which is 26% through with this book. It is very interesting. I am really liking it. I'm curious to see how this works and how it builds up to the second book, because this is a duology. I did not read any of my Meat Eater book yesterday. I could have, because I could have listened to it while I was doing cleaning, but I just didn't think about it until after the fact. But we're still working on those 2 books. I did also update my reading journal. So I believe I showed you my reading journal earlier, but I have this like Hobonichi notebook that I'm using as my reading journal for this year. So I do have my first book, Barbarian Alien, which is the first book that I read this year. Then we have Court of Thorns and Roses, which I just finished. And then The Kiss Quotient, I finished as well. So I have those 3 books already annotated in my reading journal with the scores, my thoughts, and characters' names and all that kind of stuff. So that way I'm hoping to get a little bit better with my like remembering all of the books that I read. So that is going to be it for this weekly vlog. I might end up starting another weekly vlog this week, or maybe I'll do it next week. I'm not sure. I'm unsure how much I want to do weekly vlogs because I work full time. I have appointments and I have things that go on, and sometimes I just don't have anything to record because it's basically just me sitting at my desk doing my work or cleaning or whatever, and it's not very entertaining in my mind. If you would like to see weekly vlogs and you would be interested to see how I read, given that I do work 40 hours a week, that I do have 2 kids, that I do have requirements outside of, reading, I have a life, then, just let me know and I can definitely do more of these because I enjoy them, but I don't want to record them if they're not beneficial and not entertaining to you. So let me know down below if you like weekly vlogs, and also let me know if there's any kind of content that you would like to see in the future. I am jotting down ideas for my 2024 content calendar so that way I can try to keep, regular content coming that are new or interesting or entertaining. I'm trying to do that. So let me know down below if there's something that you would be interested in, and I might go ahead and make a video on it. So with that, thank you so much for watching. If you've not done so, please make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.